Wildlife Showcase, a remarkable film about the many enchanting species of lemur, a primate unique to this island in the Indian Ocean.
Dawn in Madagascar, where the remnants of native rainforests preserve some of the most remarkable creatures to be found anywhere on Earth. The haunting cries of the Indri used to be revered by the Malagasy people, who believed their ancestors had been transformed into these animals after death. The Indri are the largest of Madagascar's 28 species of lemurs, and they are exquisitely adapted to a life in the trees. Their strong legs and grasping feet allow them to leap effortlessly through the forest canopy. Indri live in family groups comprising a male and female pair and their dependent offspring. They occupy large territories, which they vigorously defend. Despite their thick fur and dog-like muzzle, the Indri, like all lemurs, are primates. Baby Indri are born in May or June, when the island is dry and cold. This female Indri will care for her infant for at least 2 years before she has another. The little Indri's hands are well designed for clinging tightly to its mother's fur. They have a long childhood, and it will be another 7 years before this youngster reaches adult size. The first lemurs may have reached Madagascar from Africa about 60 million years ago. In the freedom of isolation, the lemurs became the masters of the island, and the Indri became the sovereigns of the canopy. Madagascar's tropical climate has favored the creation of a treasure house of plants and animals. Sunbirds won't be disappointed here. These jungles contain more than 8,000 unique species of flowering plants. And sensational discoveries still occur here. In 1987, a completely new species of lemur was discovered, the golden bamboo lemur. This is a female, and inside the forest, her mate and offspring feed. Expertly, he cracks open the tough bamboo shoot and offers the soft inside to his young. Males share the task of caring for the single offspring. Golden bamboo lemurs prefer to eat bamboo over anything else. This diet would kill a human being, for the plant is laced with frightening amounts of cyanide. But amazingly, it doesn't harm these primates. According to popular Malagasy beliefs, chameleons are able to see with one eye into the future and the other into the past. When it sets out hunting, it sways back and forth, calculating the exact distance and location of its prey. Parsons' chameleon reaches a length of 60 centimeters, and so does its tongue. Two-thirds of all the world's species of chameleons live on Madagascar. Chameleons are famous for their ability to change color. This is accomplished by different sets of pigment cells embedded in their warty skins. With their binocular vision, chameleons have the ability to move each eye independently, enabling them to see, literally, two things at once. But both eyes are focused for the kill. The heavy rainfall is vital for the tropical forest. Like a giant sponge, the vegetation soaks up moisture, releasing it gradually into the streams and rivers. In this way, the forests supply the whole of Madagascar with water, an inexhaustible source, so long as the forest is preserved. But widespread deforestation has disrupted the island's water balance. Alternating floods and droughts have replaced the steady flow of water from the forests. The rice farmers in the lowlands are only now beginning to realize that as their forests disappear, so too does the water on which their livelihoods depend. As these villagers prepare to plant the season's crop, they do not know if it will be successful. The rice harvests have permanently collapsed in many parts of the country. Despite having an agricultural-based economy, Madagascar cannot feed itself. It must now import rice to feed its hungry and growing population. This is the Mandrare River in southern Madagascar at the end of the dry season. The stream of water from the distant mountains ran dry months ago. These small water holes gouged in the riverbed must serve all the needs of the local people. Here they must get their water for both drinking and washing. With all of their problems in the clear light of day, it might seem surprising that some Malagash most fear the night and its jungle spirits. There is little to fear from the lesser mouse lemur, the smallest primate in existence. It weighs only 50 grams, about the same as a hen's egg. While many other lemurs have fallen prey to hunters, the lesser mouse lemur is widespread. Its small size allows it to hide well in the jungle vegetation. And food is plentiful, since it eats both insects and berries. On the forest floor, two streaked tenrecs search for earthworms. Voracious eaters, they don't spend long in any one place. This gargoyle of the jungle is the most feared animal in Madagascar, but the aye belies its looks. It is in fact a gentle creature. The soft inner flesh of the coconut is a favorite food, and the hard outer shell is no problem for the aye's powerful teeth. This is perhaps the most unusual of all primates. It bears little resemblance to any other lemur. The extra long, bony middle finger is an ideal scoop to get inside the coconut. A large coconut is more than enough for this young aye. Its mother now takes her turn. Coconuts are not their only food. On rotten tree trunks, the mother taps with her finger and listens for beetle larvae under the bark. The aye is Madagascar's version of a woodpecker. Unfortunately, the aye has been persecuted by superstitious villagers for many years. With about only 50 individuals remaining, the species is close to extinction. The young aye is still weaning, but with difficulty, for unlike any other primate, its mother's teats are located on her lower abdomen. Towards dawn, the ayes return to their nest with freshly gnawed twigs to serve as bedding. Before they sleep, the gentle lemurs will once again put their elongated middle finger to good use, grooming themselves in preparation for a day's rest. In the dry, southern part of the island, enormous baobab trees dominate the landscape. Stranger still, the octopus trees can grow up to 30 feet high and are heavily armored with 2-inch spines. In October, when it rains, small waxy leaves sprout from between the thorns in a frenzy of growth. Until only a few hundred years ago, a bird much larger than these lived here. It stood 10 feet tall and weighed 1,000 pounds. Its eggs alone weighed 20 pounds. With shells several centimeters thick, some eggs have remained unbroken, buried in the desert sand for all that time. It was called the elephant bird and may have been the largest bird ever to exist. It was a relative of the ostrich and was probably driven to extinction by human activity on the island. Its only legacy are the eggs from its nests. The native people of this southern desert call it the land of thorns. It's a special place because these plants are found nowhere else. Like the lemurs, they are part of a rich living museum of evolution. But like the rainforest, human encroachment is destroying the spiny desert. Only half of it remains. Perhaps the most famous of Madagascar's lemurs are the gregarious ringtails. Every morning, these prosimian Buddhas spend a good hour warming themselves in the first rays of the sun. No wonder they're known as the sun worshippers. There can be up to 30 individuals in a ringtail group. Mutual cleaning is a favorite pastime. It reinforces the social bonds in the group, as does play. Like most social mammals, the young ring-tailed lemurs establish their ranking in the group early on in their lives. Young ringtails are raised by the entire group. But a mother can be protective in the first few weeks of her baby's life. Ring-tailed lemurs are territorial and use scent to mark trees along the boundaries. The male's scent glands are conveniently located on his wrist and come equipped with a spur, which he uses to scrape bark off trees before applying the scent. Trees in well-guarded territories will have several notches after the lemurs begin marking. A tamarind tree will be well scarred with territorial markings. Its fruit is the ring-tailed lemur's favorite food. But another primate on this island will not be swayed by the territorial claims of the ring-tailed lemur. And that is man. Madagascar's precious forest is disappearing in flames. The remaining remnants of wilderness are threatened by land-hungry people desperate to make a living. But their desire to better their lives today will be paid at the price of an impoverished future. The soil on this land will be productive for only a few seasons before these farmers are forced to clear yet more forest. The consequences of deforestation are already evident in the central highlands of Madagascar, where villages perch precariously on eroded hillsides. The dry pampas grass which now covers these hills is a poor substitute for a rich and diverse forest. It cannot even protect the soil from erosion. In these highlands, great gullies bear testament to the disappearing soil. The forests will never regenerate on these barren hills. When the rains come, Most of the soil will be carried away by rivers to disappear forever in the Indian Ocean. In another remnant of Malagasy forest, another lemur, the Shifak. Here they still live, as they have always lived, for millions of years, feeding on the fruit of the tamarind tree, protecting their territories, and hopefully having more young. They live off a diet of seeds, leaves, and flowers. Like all lemurs, the Shifaks have evolved their own special way of life on the island. They will survive so long as the forests survive. Already the young Shifak is developing a pair of long, jumping legs, which will be put to good use later in life in the treetops. Madagascar's rich biological legacy has also made it the world's #1 priority for conservation. Only in the last few years, after a long period of neglect, has a concerted effort been made to protect this legacy. Now the people of Madagascar are working with the international community to preserve what is left of their forest and its precious inhabitants. If they succeed, then Madagascar's lemurs will be able to continue doing what they do best.